Good morning, my dear students. Our chapter number 2 is going on, which is Gauss's law and its applications. Yesterday, we discussed about some applications of a Gauss's law, like electric field intensity due to a uniformly charged infinite plate and a uniformly unconducting and conducting plate. Today we discuss a new application of a Gauss's law, which is electric field intensity due to a uniformly charged spherical cell. Firstly, we know that Gauss law. What is Gauss law? According to Gauss, total electric flux passing through a closed surface, it means phi E, is equal to the 1 upon epsilon naught times of total charge enclosed by that surface, it means summation Q. So phi E is equals to summation Q upon epsilon naught. This is known as Gauss's law. By this law, we derive electric field intensity due to a uniformly charged spherical cell. Okay. Suppose we have a spherical cell of radius capital R is uniformly charged with charge capital Q. Then the surface charge density of this spherical cell is sigma. Sigma is equals to, we know that, Q upon A. Here A is the area of a surface area of a spherical cell. And a point P, we consider a point P is located at small r distance from center of spherical cell. Then for calculate the electric field intensity, we imagine a spherical Gaussian surface of small r radius and considering O be the center of the sphere. Okay. Therefore, three conditions are possible of point P. First, when point P is outside the sphere. Suppose we have a sphere which radius is capital R and this is charged by plus Q charge, uniformly charged like this, and surface charge density is sigma. To determine the electric field intensity, we imagine a spherical Gaussian surface for small r radius. What is small r? Small r is the distance between observation point and center of the sphere. Suppose this is small p and imagine a Gaussian surface, Gaussian spherical, which is passing through point P, and S is the surface area of this Gaussian surface, and we take this area element ds. In this case, charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface, summation Q is equals to Q. Q is which charge we provide to this spherical cell. By Gauss's law, total electric flux related to this Gaussian surface, according to Gauss law, phi E is equals to closed surface integral E vector dot ds vector is equals to summation Q over epsilon naught. Here, direction of electric field at this surface is perpendicular to this surface area S, and summation Q, value of summation Q is equals to Q, then put the value of summation q in this equation, then we get surface integral E ds cos theta is equals to q upon epsilon naught. Here theta is the angle between direction of electric field and direction of a area element, and which is 0. So theta is equals to 0, cos 0 is equals to 1. And the magnitude of intensity of electric field is same at equal distance on Gaussian surface from the center. Because of at all these points, distance of this point from this center, small r, and we take another point, suppose that here, and distance for this point from this center is also same, then we can say that the magnitude of electric field intensity is same at equal distance on Gaussian surface, because we know that electric field intensity depend upon the distance between observation point from charge. Therefore, E is constant, then E closed surface integral ds is equals to q upon epsilon naught. Closed surface integral ds is the surface area of Gaussian surface, and we know that surface area of a sphere is equals to 4 pi r square. Here r, small r, is the radius of a Gaussian surface. So E into 4 pi r square, put the value of in this equation, E into 4 pi r square is equals to q upon epsilon naught. Transfer the term at this side, then we get E is equals to q upon 4 pi r square upon epsilon naught. We know that 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is equals to k. So E is equals to kq upon r square. In vector form, we can write E vector is equals to kq upon r square r cap. Here r cap is a unit vector which represents the direction of electric field, and this is the expression for electric field intensity at outside of the spherical cell. We know that sigma is the surface charge density is equals to q upon a. So q is equals to sigma into a. What is a? A is the area of a spherical cell, and we know that radius of a spherical cell is capital R. So area of a spherical cell 4 pi r square. So q is equals to sigma into 4 pi r square. We put this value in this equation, then E is equals to sigma into 4 pi capital R square upon 4 pi small r square epsilon naught. 4 pi to 4 pi cancel out, then we get E is equals to sigma into r square upon epsilon naught into small r square. In previous chapter, we study electric field intensity due to a point charge, which expression is like this. Here it is clear that in this case the spherical cell, from this equation we can say that the spherical cell behave as a point charge, which total charge is concentrated at the center. Okay. Next condition is when point P is on the surface of the sphere, it means small r is equals to capital R. From this equation number 1, we put small r is equals to capital R, then we get at surface point ES is equals to kq upon capital R square. This expression for electric field intensity at surface point of the spherical cell. From this equation, we put small r is equals to capital R, then capital R square cancel out from this capital R square, then we get E is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught. So ES is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught. This is the another form of electric field intensity at surface point. Our third point is when point P is inside the sphere, it means small r. What is small r? Small r is the distance between observation point and center of spherical cell. So small r less than capital R. Again, let point P is located at small r distance inside the sphere from center of a sphere. Then imagine a spherical Gaussian surface of radius r. Let's draw a spherical cell of radius capital R. This is a spherical cell of radius capital R, which origin point center is O. This spherical cell charged by plus Q charge uniformly. Then surface charge density is sigma, and we take a point P, observation point P, inside this spherical cell. Then imagine a spherical Gaussian surface of radius small r, which center is O, and surface area of this Gaussian surface is S. Then a area element ds will be like this. So charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface, this Gaussian surface, summation q is equals to 0, because total charge is distributed on the surface, outer surface of this spherical cell. Then in internal part charge becomes 0, so summation q is equals to 0. According to Gauss's law, phi E, electric flux phi E is equals to surface integral E vector dot ds vector is equals to summation q upon epsilon naught. But we know that summation q, charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface, is equals to 0. So phi E is equals to closed surface integral E vector dot ds vector is equals to 0 upon epsilon naught. From this equation, E in is equals to 0, means at inner part electric field intensity will be 0. Then we can say that the electric field at all points inside the spherical cell is 0. If we take at center of this spherical cell, then the value of electric field at this point also 0. Okay. So we plot a graph between electric field intensity and distance small r. So graph of electric field intensity with the change in distance. We take distance at x-axis and electric field intensity at y-axis, and this is origin point O. Firstly, inner part small r less than capital R. We know that electric field intensity inside the spherical cell will be is the 0. E in is equals to 0. So for inner part, E in is equals to 0. At surface of a sphere, small r is equals to capital R, then electric field intensity becomes E surface is equals to kq upon capital R square. This is the maximum value of electric field intensity. Now we take outer point of a observation point, then from this equation we can see that electric field intensity depends on the distance, and electric field intensity is inversely proportional to the square of distance. It means if we increase in distance, then electric field intensity will be decrease. So by this equation we plot graph between E and R. Here E is maximum. Now we increase in this distance, then electric field intensity will be decrease like this. So this graph E out inversely proportional to R square. This graph will represent electric field intensity with change in distance. Okay. Our next application is electric field intensity due to uniformly charged conducting sphere. Now we take a conducting sphere, and yesterday we discussed about this. If we have a non-conducting sphere, we have a conducting sphere. This is non-conducting, this is conducting, and we have a spherical cell. Spherical cell. Now we charged all these elements by plus q charge. Then if we give say charge to this non-conducting sphere at this point, then this charge stays as here. But for this conducting and spherical cell, charge is distributed on the surface of the conducting sphere and surface on the spherical cell. When charge is given to a conductor, that charge always gets distributed uniformly on its outer surface. Therefore, inside the conductor charge is 0. Here we can see that here charge q is equals to 0, and here charge also q is equals to 0. It means a uniformly charged conducting sphere is just like a uniformly charged spherical cell. Therefore, the intensity of electric field due to conducting sphere can be calculated as the derivation of intensity of electric field due to spherical cell. And result of this derivation, we get E out is equals to kq upon r square, E surface is equals to kq upon capital R square, and inner part electric field intensity will be 0. These expression are equal to the electric field intensity due to uniformly charged spherical cell. Okay. One application is remaining for Gauss's law. That remaining application we will discuss in our next video. If you have any doubt, then write your doubt comment box. Thank you.